In a world where gaming is everything, welcome to the Extreme Gaming Podcast.
We got a full house today. Welcome to Extreme Gaming Podcast, episode number 263. It's January 16th when we're recording this. And like I said, we got a full house. So obviously I'm Great Gamer 25 and you all introduce yourself.
Hello, it's Trev. Pleased to meet you all.
And I'm Matt, also known as Irish Guardian on Twitch. How you guys doing?
Hello, I'm Carl from Gamertech. Thanks for having me on again, guys. Really appreciate it.
Feed me Lord Gaben?
Yes. Yeah.
I was reading that under your name.
That was from last week. I
know.
forgot about that. I've got to change it. I
Okay.
still want him to feed me, just to be clear, but
Oh, okay. You can change it, by the way. You can always go in there and change it anytime you want. It doesn't matter when. Trev's is the best one, though. I'm so moist for the Switch, too.
Doesn't take much.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's so good. Anyway, just to get the paperwork, as they say, out of the way, Discord, discord.gg/Extreme Gaming Podcast. You can reach us all there. We talk about all kinds of stuff besides gaming and other things. So you can also ask questions if you want us to bring your question up in the pod. We can do that, and so you can just write us a question, and we'll go ahead and try to answer it. We are on all the socials.
Do with the facial.
That's getting clapped. That's getting clapped. Facials
Yeah,
all
definitely.
around.
That's a good one. Next thing I know,
something on your mind, Gray?
I'll be talking about the Manny Petty neck. Anyway, the socials. YouTube Extreme Gaming Podcast, or actually / Extreme Gaming Podcast. Facebook Extreme Gaming Podcast, TikTok Extreme Gaming Podcast, and X is the only Elon Musk mess up where we're Extreme Podcast without the gaming. And you can probably find us other places too. We just, we're all over the place.
Yeah.
We've got a load of things to talk about today. We may get to all of it. If we don't, it's okay because we just shove it off to the next episode. So one way or the other, we are here to entertain you, and we will do our best. So the first thing up is probably, unless you're hiding under a rock, the Switch 2 finally, or I should say Nintendo finally made an announcement, and Trev's going to talk all about it.
Not much to talk about, just more so than anything else. Only dropped it a matter of hours ago. Gray, I forgot to remind you beforehand that we are being sharp today because we're big geeks, Gray and I, so we're going to be hopefully watching the latest SpaceX launch after this. So
Starship.
it'll probably be a tad under 2 hours, like the 150-ish kind of mark. But hey, you'll still get the quality content. Don't worry about that.
Yep.
Right. Anyway, so yeah, there's so many leaks of this Switch 2, it's getting
Yeah, there's
ridiculous.
been plenty.
And this is what happens when it goes to the factory, boys. Like, there's someone there that they're never paid well enough, and unfortunately, these guys in the factory, and they're thinking, screw this, I'm just going to leak some stuff, and they have, and they've pretty much went for the safe route of copying the last console and just blowing everything up a little bit more, making it a bit better. So there's a little trailer that's about 2.5 minutes long. So the people listening, just go and Google for the latest Switch 2 trailer, because you don't hear anything, more or less, to be honest with you. But anywho, right, we'll just get this cracking, and Gray will put in a shiny version later, like he always does.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, make sure you look at our video podcast. It's available usually 24 to 48 hours after the audio that we're doing now, because we always put some special stuff in there and some backup video to all the things we talk about, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, check that out on YouTube and on Spotify.
Yes. Okay. It's a bit slow at the start, but gets there.
Heard that before.
Mm-hmm.
Click. That was a Windows error sound.
Buttons.
USB-C. Bigger.
Makes that sound. I'm buying one.
Hmm.
Look, we thought it was over. All right.
There you go,
All
peeps.
right.
There you go. Told you the
You
boys.
guys on audio, sorry about that. I'm sure you already fast forwarded.
Yeah. It's let's say there's not a lot of audio there. It's just more video than anything else. Not really much to mention, apart from the fact that we won't see anything more about it until the 2nd of April. That'll be one of their directs where they'll show off all the software.
Well, they said on the thing
Which sucks.
February 4th was the direct, but they threw me because when they said February 4th, I thought that meant that was when it was coming out.
No, that was I purposefully posted the trailer from Nintendo UK rather than Nintendo US. Because the Nintendo UK date format is just the original and superior and correct date format. So,
you guys.
yeah, but we started English like way before you did.
You keep saying that all the time. We just,
That's true. Am I right, boys?
hey, look, we
invented it. So
we had to take like 20 different languages over here and teach everybody how to speak English.
No. Anyway, no, it's the 2nd of April. 2nd of April. It's a big gap. That's all the software, and that'll be probably where they tell you about the price and the specs, and maybe not even much about the specs. But the thing that sucks about that, not just the wait between now and then, that's when they're showing the software. So it isn't launching that date. It'll be, what's the minimum it could come out? Realistically, a couple of months. It might be a month after because they're ramping up stock.
So wait. So you're saying April? It isn't actually going to come out? It's just
no, just software, mate. Just the games. That's it. See when it says Nintendo Direct, that is them literally showing their software. That's what they do at those events. So,
is this the most boring Nintendo release ever?
It's the safest one, mate, because look what happened to Wii and the Wii U. When they tried to take the Wii and then improving it too much to make the Wii U, it fell flat in its face. So what they're doing now is they're literally just making everything a bit bigger and better. They're being safe. And the share price tells you that everyone is happy with it because it jumped up quite a bit today, the share price. It'll be realistically June when it comes out, boys. I can't see it being any less than a 2-month leadway after that, which sucks because I want it now. That's Mario Kart 9. We presume that's on screen. Mario Kart 8 was the biggest selling Switch game of all time. 64 million copies. It's mental.
Oh, it's all backward compatible too. It says so.
Yes, 99%. I think things like Labo, and I don't really know what Labo is, but that's the thing unique to Switch original, won't be backwards compatible, and there might be one or two odd titles. But yeah, it is because they don't want to. They've got a massive audience there already, boys. Like I had someone at work. I was showing the guys at work before I left. Here's the new Switch, and one of the girls there who's got a little boy went, "Can you play the old games though, like from the last?" I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "Oh, thank God for that. That'll save me a small fortune."
Yeah, exactly.
So it's nothing too exciting. But anyway, so maybe if you get more leaks and stuff that are worth showing, I'll show them. But we'll move on from there.
I have one question though. Do you think that what we saw was what they intended to show everybody at this time? The reason I'm asking that is because you've seen all the articles where people have been leaking so much stuff that Nintendo was getting pretty pissed off. So I was wondering whether they intended to maybe put more into it, but they decided, you know what, because everything's been leaked out, screw it, we're just going to show what it looks like, and that's it.
Yeah, well, this is what happens when it hits the factory and they ramp up production, and they're already well into ramping up production. It's going to leak, and people have then got a hold of these leaks and maybe even made got the CAD designs and literally just copied them. I'm not surprised this happened. The leaks that came out during CES, there was literally people at CES going around going, listen, we've got a mock-up of the Switch 2 from official dimensions and stuff.
Oh, no.
Because they've either got hold of the original Switch or the CAD, the drawings, and they've made the cases for them that they're going to put on them. So that was great advertising for them. You know, that's a no-brainer, that one. They get free business in because they make cases and skins and whatnot. But Nintendo had to show their hand. They probably didn't want to release that for another several weeks. But with the last leak that came out, they went, these leaks are not official. Bingo, got you straight away.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's no good at all. Mr. Tarl, I can hear your keyboard down to the letter click, my man. You'll maybe need to tweak the old settings after the podcast, all right?
Carl, just so you know,
type, but you just need to tweak it, that's all.
Just so you know, Tarl, though, when we pass this through the audio enhancement, it pretty much takes all that out.
Yeah,
just so you know.
Nice.
Not live. Not live, it doesn't, but when we put out the audio podcast, the video podcast, it pretty much eliminates it.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's see what other weird noises I can make.
Yeah, no.
See if they get through the filter.
What can I get away with? I don't know. Well, we will painfully wait until Switch 2 does come out, and maybe they'll do a couple more teasers along the way. I don't know.
You could buy you could buy one for coming over to Scotland and play it in the plane.
I don't need to buy one. My son will already
put it right next to your Quest 3.
That is true.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
You don't play.
Yeah.
I did put it together. I can prove
that's something.
Oh my God! How long have you had it for, Grain? You've just put it together. Put it on.
Got the Quest 4 out now.
I bought a new mount for it. See this thing here? This is all new.
Yeah. Cool. I
didn't want the stupid straps, so I bought a nice harness for it. So
I've got the official one because I'm just an official geek.
Yes,
so.
yes.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Come on, Matt.
Carl, where's yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. But Matt's got them all, so he can show them off. I got it.
Matt, Jesus Christ, man! How many Sam Fishers have you killed to get all those shiny headsets?
Well, I only killed him from the bad ones. From the bad ones that he's done. 3.
3.
Wow.
Yeah. Each gen.
Not to get too much off topic, but have you seen that new Pimax one that looks really awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Gray doesn't watch CES. He doesn't watch it.
Oh, okay.
Almost considering getting into VR because it's looking good now.
Yeah. The funny thing is that the reason why I got this wasn't intentionally for games originally. The reason I got it is because I like to seeing like the wonders of nature, mountains, streams, animals, the whole 9 yards, which I've experienced before myself. But so I'm sitting there going like, well, the places that I can't go, probably won't ever go. I want to be able to pop the headset on and look at some of these VR videos that they've made all around the world, because that'd be like the next best thing to being there. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me after that, I'm going like, oh yeah, I can play games too. Yeah,
oh my God.
That's the ticket.
It's the other way around. You're looking at it from the wrong.
It wasn't for me though, because the only thing I can see on the VR headset, and we're going to be getting into a bunch of VR stuff in a minute, I'll be talking about, is that I haven't tried it yet, so I can't say yes, no, or what I'm going to feel like. I just don't. I'm hoping I can get the hang of the 2 controllers, one in each hand, because that looks a little confusing. I'm going to have to really practice with those to be able to get that down right if I'm playing a game. If it's a video, it doesn't matter. I just pop my head on and watch the video. But for a game, I've got to really get used to knowing how to, use those things. I mean, Matt, you're probably a professional now.
Yeah, absolutely. Kid shows me every time he's around. He's like, "Yep, we're VRing. We're doing this in VR."
Well, you were doing it in the the Arkham Asylum, which Batman game was it?
Oh, what's it? Arkham Shadows.
Yeah. So you were able to mess with that one. So that was
I'm still
cool.
stuck in prison. I haven't touched it since. And then I went on to the Aliens thing. Wasn't it?
Since we're on the subject of VR, I'll go into the first story I have that I've been pushing off every week. James Cameron, we all know who he is, right? And if you don't, look him up. He's teaming up with Meta to create mixed reality 3D entertainment experiences strictly and only for MetaQuest. And apparently they're not really saying what. The only thing he's saying is that he's planning on creating experience covering live sports, concerts, TV series, films, and will feature a big name IP that he doesn't say what it is.
Please be Terminator. Please be Terminator.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, it's got to be. He's got to lead off with something like that. Well, he'll probably lead off with Avatar and then move into Terminator and other stuff. So I'm really, when I read that, I was like, and yeah, that sounds good. Now, there's no time as to when this is stuff going to come about. A Meta representative basically said the collaboration will be shared in the coming months, so we should be hearing some more news soon. Apparently, Cameron is very excited about it. His quote was, "I was amazed by its transformational potential and power," meaning Meta, but meaning VR in particular, and what it means for content creators globally. "I'm convinced we're at a true historic inflection point. Navigating that future with Meta will ensure all of us to have the tools to create, experience, and enjoy new mind-blowing forms of media." He's pretty much right on, because we've been talking about it for weeks here, and everything's moving towards that. So Cameron's not going to do something that he can't do 110%. So I'm really can't wait to see what he's going to pull out of his hat for this one.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
He's not a stranger to AI whatsoever. He joined the board of directors at Stability AI, and they're the ones that created Stable Diffusion. So he's basically going to get into it big time. So looking forward to it, man. Hope it's going to be something good. I really do. It would be so exciting. I would want to jump onto his game. Imagine having an Avatar being in the movie or something like.
When he releases them,
one of the mechs as well.
When he releases the bloody things, it seems to be like a century in between bloody Avatar movies, man. Honest to God, what is he doing?
The third one should be coming, I think, in a few months, right?
Because he spent so long making them all together, he should be able to churn out one every day for the next year. Easy.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah.
Well, speaking about AI VR, we move on to rendering. We all talked about the RTX 50. What's his name? Jansen came out and talked about how we're all firmly into the AI now. And all I'm seeing and hearing about, which we talked about before this happened, was how AI was going to take over a lot of some of these duties. And apparently they're talking about, rasterization is out the window and old, and AI rendering is where it's going to be at from now on. So they are firmly leaving rasterization behind and encompassing in AI fully. Apparently it says that NVIDIA has released updated RTX software kit now already for developers with all the APIs that they need for neural rendering, shaders, materials, texture compression, more performance in ray traced games, the works. So with the kit, now they can do almost anything or start really playing around and pushing it to the limit. They said that their new kit is going to have a whole bunch of new tools to it. It's going to unlock new compression and approximation techniques for next generation assets. Neural texture compression, 8 times VRAM improvement, 8 times. I want to see what 8 times means, but that's interesting. 8 times faster material processing, real-time performance to film quality assets. That's important. It kind of flies under the radar. Film quality assets. That means, realistic and making actual movies. So, which is all coming, I'm sure. I don't know how you guys look at that, but when we've talking about it, I wouldn't think any of you guys are surprised, right?
Nah. Not surprised, no. There's a quote in here, Gray, that says, "I have no doubt that we're nearing a point where game rendering using AI and ray tracing will be visually perfect to the eye, if not mathematically." Right. I think half of that's right, ray tracing, yeah, but I think we're a long way off using AI to literally create the frames. And
I don't think
just look at how long it's taken. Sorry?
Well, I don't think we're as far off as you think. Let's put it this way: in normal times, I would say we're 2-3 years off. Now, how fast it moves, I say we're off. We're only off by 6 months to a year. I'm serious. This shit's happening so fast.
Really?
It's just crazy. And I'll tell you what convinced me even more, and that was the next little story I was going to talk about. I had seen a very, very short video, and basically it's called Rendering Digital Humans with NVIDIA RTX Neural Faces. And by the way, if you want to see some of the stuff, please again tune into the video podcast that we do on YouTube in a couple days, and I'll have all this right behind us as we talk. But anyway, so I saw the video and it was very short, and I could not believe how good this looked. I mean, they're putting out, realistic faces that look like you or I, except maybe prettier.
Yeah, in my case, yes. Yeah.
But this was probably made using $50 million worth of hardware, right? So how soon is it going to be until we get that in, a 4060 equivalent?
I don't know completely. I mean, for the 5000 series and maybe the coming 6000 series, but they might have it a lot sooner. But the costs aren't what you think anymore. I looked at one thing. I forget what article it was, but I think it was definitely an NVIDIA article, and they were talking about how what they were doing, or if they were to do what they're doing today, just a year ago, would have cost something like $50,000, $100,000, and now they're doing it on $3,000. To give you a comparison, the price has dropped radically, and it's just going to keep dropping as we go on. Like I said, I'm waiting for the day, and maybe a couple of more years, where they're going to produce a short game first, totally with AI. I mean, right now the cutscenes are already being done with AI, and they're just perfecting those. Look at some of these people that these content creators all across YouTube. They're putting out some really good looking stuff. I mean, I've been following it closely, and I was seeing some videos when they came out. The first thing I look at their fingers. I look at if they're holding anything. I look at their eyes, and the rest of their face, but especially the eyes. And when you look at those particular things, you can always tell them when it's an AI, because the fingers don't look quite right, or there might be only 4 fingers in some shots, or 3 fingers in some shots, and then or 6 fingers in some shots. And then when you look around the eyes are the most important out of the whole thing. So when you look at the eyes, you see the eyes start going like they're like moving up and around, and they're losing shape, etc. And I've seen a couple of new ones now that just come out where you don't see anything, or you see all very, very little. And I'm just like shocked at how good it looks. Yes, somebody's putting it up right now. It must be Trev.
Yeah. I saw something from Digital Foundry though, where they went into greater detail with this.
Yeah,
it looked like a jewel or something, or like a vase, or it was impressive.
You'll see this on the video podcast, but just look at the stuff. I mean, it's crazy. It already looked good before they added the neuromodeling, and then when they dropped the neuromodeling on top of it, it just made it that another step up. And look at these faces. These are not real people. This is all generated, off of a base model, and then just going from there, and all the expressions and everything.
Love or hate NVIDIA, right? And I know a lot of people hate the big guy, like the leader. They're smashing it out of the park. They really are. It's not just about bringing out expensive graphics cards. They're actually killing it in the server market, which we'll get to in a little bit as well. And they're bringing out all these new technologies. They're not resting on their laurels. They're actually going for it. So fair play.
You can drop that, Trev. And the only reason I'm telling you that because when I edit and it stays on there that long, I got to figure out how to cover it up so it doesn't look like it's a long story. Anyway, so you saw how good that looked. I mean, and 6 months ago, it didn't look like that. Only 6 months ago. I don't even know if it was 6 months ago. It was like 3 months ago. And I can show you some examples of people that are just what I would call maybe advanced novice, I guess for lack of a better word, that can afford to get some of the software out there. There's this one guy I really like. Can't remember his name right now, but he does a video on all the breaking software as it comes out, or all the updates to existing softwares that come out. And every time he talks about either an update to a particular type of software or a new software that comes on the market, he shows examples, and it's crazy. From one update to the second update to the third update, all done within the last 3 or 4 months. 3 updates. And if you go back to the one that the guy made 4 months ago to now, it's night and day. I mean, that's extremely fast. It's moving so quickly. It's just like it's amazing.
Greg, can you bring up Mercian's comment? Because I don't know if you addressed that. Apologies.
Oh yeah, I'll get to it.
I don't have the controls this week. He says, "Don't you think AI will be used to just fill in the blanks?" And well, yeah, that's where we get to this multi-frame gen stuff that we will talk about a bit more shortly. That's pretty much where they're going, because, as we said before, they're kind of getting close to the limits of what rasterization can actually do. And they're also getting close to what CPUs can do as well. So when we're old,
look at the price
really old,
Ray, PMax is expensive, man. 1,327. Woo!
When we're all really old and you're like really ancient, Gray, it'll be interesting to see where quantum computers and all that are. But anyway, moving on.
So I'm just that ends my little AI corner for now. But there's just so much to talk about. AI and VR tend to be married. in a lot of ways. They are separate, but they're not separate. It's hard to explain, but it's just it's amazing where the technology is going. I'm just like it's wild. I mean, I
think it's
posted
brilliant.
a thing on, and it wasn't just for looks. Yeah, we all look at it because we love to see the beautiful people, whatever. But when I posted the guy that did a little bit on Witcher 3, and he made it with the AI, made it look all pretty realistic, etc. I said I couldn't believe some of the characters. What he did in the video is he took each character that we know and love from the game, and then made the AI version of it, and I couldn't believe how good it looked. I mean, I was going like, wow, and I was imagining like if I could take those the way he did them and drop them into Witcher 3 right now, wow, it would be so amazing, and it would just I know we're not there yet, but we're real close when you look at that video. We're really close. Anyway, anybody have any other opinions about that before we move on?
The future is exciting.
It is.
It is.
All right, we're going to go ahead and move on. We're going to talk about a game, Call of Duty Black Ops, but in particular Zombies, because we played the regular game, which we reported on here before, but now we did Zombies together, so we'll talk a little bit about that. So,
Ray, what do you think? You kick it off.
I'm going to do mine. I'm going to do mine last for a reason.
You went in a cream puff, didn't you?
The what?
A huff. It's Cockney rhyming for a mood, bad mood. A huff is a bad mood.
I'm going to let Trev or Matt lead off, and then I'll put my 2 cents in at the end. It's not bad. It's not terrible, but
Well, on screen at the moment is I muted it because I think it's got a bit of copyright music, although it's been changed enough, so I'm not sure. I think I might have shown this before, but it's good background stuff. We decided we've been meaning to do this for a while. I play a little bit of COD from time to time. I don't really play much. I get okay at the multiplayer stuff at best. I'm definitely not a sweaty player or really good at it. Far from it. I don't have that natural skill to just play a bit of it and be phenomenal. I need to play. But Zombies is something I've always loved ever since the Black Ops 1. When the first map came out, and it was just like a little bonus at the end that they didn't think would blow up. Then Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 were literally a continuing story arc, and you fell in love with these characters. So true arc of the Zombie Kings. Literally, they are the Zombie Kings. Anyone else has tried to do zombies, they've just made an arse of it. So we decided the three of us are going to play this. It would be good for us to do something together, and it's a story mode in the zombies. It's not just horde mode. So we went in and we tried the training course, and then we tried a couple of maps after that. We tried the one, I think it was like an old French like village courtyard type thing, Matt, that we're playing at the end.
Yeah.
We had fun. So it's a mix of the old and the new, essentially. All your usual perks are there, like your juggernauts, your stamina up, quick revive, which you need a lot when Gray's in the game. Love you, Gray. I just had a blast playing with the guys. Matt, we played this after, to be fair, Gray had a technical hitch at one point, right? He get kicked out of one of the games, which pissed him off. I get that.
Yeah, as usual.
And then the second game, I think he just died, and it's kind of difficult to try and revive someone. You know what it's like when you've been in there. So, I'll stop that just now. So it's a bit of a difficult one, but we played on because there is a method to the madness with the Call of Duty stuff, the zombies. It's not just horde mode where you're absolutely smashing each other to bits. It's a case of actually trying to do the story bit by bit, and you have to take a zombie for a walk. So get a crawler is a saying, where if you get a crawler, you take him about for a while, but eventually he will die. You can't do that forever. Same with a runner. You keep a couple of them alive. So I was babysitting a lot because we dubbed or we nominated Matt to do the Googling because we are too lazy and dumb to actually try and work it all out. So,
yeah.
To be fair, Matt's got a lot of patience and a lot of credit for going and doing that. But we were playing that session for no shit. I kid you not, 5 hours. 5 hours. And we dropped. We did drop, but we picked each other up. We had quick revive and instant revive. You can buy something like in normal multiplayer. If you're downed, you can select this number 3, whatever it is, and you're back up again. And to the point where we were upgrading our guns. Gray, I think you maybe upgraded your gun at one point, a pack-a-punch machine. It's $5,000 or is it 50 grand? No, 50 grand to
It
upgrade
depends
your.
on what level. Yeah.
Yeah, but by the end of it, there's 3 levels to upgrade your gun. You can go each time. It's like 50 grand, 30 grand, and like whatever it is over that 100,000. I managed to upgrade both of my guns to the max each time, so they're all shiny to the point where I'm trying to get the ray gun for my second gun. Because if you play zombies, you know the ray gun's like one of the best. Wunderwaffle and things like that. Just if you know, you know. So we're going through all the story elements. Now, Matt, by all means come in and let me know what you made of that, because there is a few maps in that game. There is another map that I'll be talking about later on as well, coming out soon for the new season. I thought the story was okay, but I want your opinion, what you thought of it all.
Yeah, it was definitely quite chaotic at the beginning. I think we had 2 other guys join us, didn't we? Randoms. Yeah. And, they got us to a certain point of one of the puzzles, and then they were like, oh, what do we do? And I was like, I don't know. It's the first time I've ever done this. So just trying to figure out what was going on. I think they ended up just leaving because they had enough. They didn't know what they were doing, even though they carried us pretty much to that point. It is it's very long, very tedious, and not a lot is very clear with the storyline, so you don't know what exactly you're supposed to be doing at what point. Because I think there's different segments that you can choose to do to find certain things to eventually get to the same point of that. And I think with the perk ups, probably definitely it did help. I think I was down more times, up and down more times than Pamela Anderson's knickers. So there we go.
Poor Pam.
Yeah. Bring her back. So it was quite fun. It was definitely mad. Definitely mad times with getting chased around all the time by loads of different zombies, the blue and big things with the tentacles, and the spider looking, whatchamacallit.
Oh, yeah.
I think other than that, it was pretty fun. Very long. I didn't expect it to be so long to do just one thing. I mean, you couldn't just drop and go and come back at the same point. You'd have to do the whole thing all over again.
Oh, we were going to finish it though, Matt. We put too much into it.
Yeah, exactly. At that point, it was, do or die. And we done it. We did.
We did.
Great.
Die
and do instead of do or die. It's like
both.
both. Yeah.
Multiple
so it
times.
Is on the Xbox Game Pass. It is. Yeah. So you don't have to worry about that.
It's within the game. Just to say, you open COD and you get campaign, multiplayer, zombies. So, Ray, thoughts?
I was hoping they had Pokemon mixed into it. That would have been kind of interesting.
Hey, if they can get the rights from Namtech and is it Namtech to make it a Nintendo Pokemon World?
Just go to Power World. They'll do it.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on, Gray, stop putting it off. What's your opinion?
Matt and Trev played it for 5 hours, which was 2.5 hours longer than I would like to play it. I'm not trying to make it sound bad. It's just that I really enjoyed the first 2 hours or so I played, and playing with the guys is always lots of fun. So I did enjoy it. But after about 2 hours or a little more than that, to me, those kind of games start to get way too tedious. And I'm like into it, and I just start getting bored real quick. I'm not usually a huge fan of zombie games. In fact, zombies in general, I'm not a really big fan of.
Now you tell us.
I said this a long time ago. Like, for instance, what was it? What's the TV series? Walking Dead?
Yeah.
I watched the first 5, 6, 8 episodes, and then I was bored already. It was just like, what's on this week? Zombies. What's on the next week? More zombies. What's on for 14 years?
Can I give you a
zombies?
little tip? I'll give you a little secret. Don't tell anyone, Gray. It's not actually about the zombies. I know that sounds daft.
I know, but it's 10 years too long of zombies. But the point is that. So I get tired of zombies after a while. So I did enjoy it for the time I played it. I just couldn't keep going on. It was just like,
What do you not like about it? The fact that it's same and tedious.
Same thing over and over again. It got to the point where it was just, die all the time, and that's okay to a point. But after a while, I get sick of that. I actually was surprised that I liked when we first played it. We were doing the normal PvP, like there was 4 of us against 4 other people on some maps, and I thought I wouldn't like that, and I actually enjoyed that more than the zombies, which is odd for me because I'm not a big PvP fan per se.
Great. It's fundamentally a horde mode type game, right? Wave after wave, and that's what it originated from. I never know how to pronounce the original map. I don't know if you remember Matt Nerdatorin or Naktatorin or something like that. Like it was the original one in the house, the downstairs and the upstairs. And that was pretty epic. But this is essentially Horde mode, and they actually expanded on that afterwards, right? In fact, no. Was it World at War? I think had the first map added as a freebie at the end, and then Black Ops 1, 2, then 3 had a part each time, and they built upon the story. So if you take away the Horde mode, which is a big part of it, there is actually a story there with characters. And that's what Matt and I were investigating a little bit, because that does get a bit samey. You're right, mate. There are different modes. It gets confusing. There's different maps. So Matt and I have only played mostly that one map with the one story. There's a couple other maps, and there's a new map coming out for Season 2, and they've all got their different stories. I need to investigate it a lot more, but essentially what we were on, you think that was hard? That was nothing. It capped at level 14, which is nothing. And dare I say it was easy if you just kept yourself switched on, because it would get to a certain level of zombies, like so many of them, then it would just kind of like stop. And bear in mind, I'm Billy Big Balls with 2 upgraded guns, both level 3 each, with 9 perks. Remember the days you could only get 4 max? 9 perks. And I'm running about with my bloody gobble gums and stuff as well. And it's kind of easy. It's just figuring out the story elements that's the difficult part. And do you know what the story element was?
No.
This is this thing, right? I had fun, Matt. I really did have fun with that. I want to try a different mode or story, because I thought for 5 hours, all the bloody story was you exfilling the premises, right? What we could do, we done in the first map with you, Gray, if you remember, every 5 rounds you could run to the exfil and get out, but you don't do that immediately, because where's the fun? Right. But this was to build up to, if you've done all the story elements, you got an exfil, and I'm like, why? I don't get it. So, you know.
Yeah, I think at the beginning we were set on the wrong path, because the person that joined us randomly kept setting up hordes left, right, and center, so we couldn't do the story or anything. So that kind of, I think that took you've got to keep a couple alive, like we were saying before. You got, so one babysits and one does the actual stuff. But then, Matt's got a cheek to say that, because he was like, say hello to my little friend, and he would just kill them all, like, and then he'd end the round. I'm like, Matt, you're supposed to keep a couple.
I think one of the funnest things I did was there was a horde coming after me, and I was able to do the Rambo thing. When you watch the Rambo movie, where you see Stallone just go with 2 machine guns like this. That's exactly what I was doing. I was going,
oh, that is definitely.
And I was mowing them all down. It was great.
Yeah. Listen, I had fun playing that, but I think there could be more fun to be had. And I was listen, see, at the end of that 5 hours, it would rank up and rank up and rank up, because I've been doing so much, and I didn't even have the battle pass either. I was considering getting a battle pass, because it's that Squid Game stuff this season, but the new season, it starts in like 2.5 weeks or so. So I'm not, I'd maybe get the battle pass or whatever they call it in that for the new season, because and that's the thing. Matt said we kept getting joined by random, and I'm like, surely you can turn switch the 4-person off. You used to be able to do that. Just go with your party. You can't anymore.
Zombies anyways.
Exactly. If there's a way we couldn't find it,
there is a version of the zombies where it's open world, where you can actually turn that off, and you have your team, or you can have a solo, depending.
Good.
Wait.
Yeah.
You just said something. Open world. What do you mean?
Yeah, so it's an open world. It's pretty much like DMZ, but you get deployed to a certain area, and then you got missions to do, and you have to go around. You can either go with other people, meet up with others, or you just go
remember
about.
That.
So does that mean the maps are wider?
Massive. Yeah,
I don't
but
know
they
if
spawn everywhere. So
I don't know if it's on this version of COD though, but I do remember
I don't think
in the past.
It is. Yeah, I think it's the previous version.
Yeah, why isn't that
in
the new one?
You went through a warp, like a warp tunnel or a bubble or something, or not, portal is a better word for it, from one map to the other, didn't you?
Yeah.
You remember? Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
that,
certain areas. Yeah.
That was a bit. I mean,
I don't know.
It wasn't too bad.
As Geralt would say, I hate portals.
Yeah. I mean, you had to extract as well, which is another thing which I never ended up doing, because I kept forgetting there's a timer on. There was things to do. And
So
then there's
there
those
is
zombies that
no
just come at you.
open map thing in the new one at all, period?
Well,
Not
not
the
that we
new
can
one,
see.
no.
I don't think so, no.
Oh, that
So-
sucks. See, when
So
you
far,
mentioned that,
yeah.
I was going like, damn, that'd be fun to do.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I would give it another try again. Maybe not that map. And I was up to like half two in the morning, so I really don't want to. I want to get an earlier start.
Tal
I'm
can
going
be
to
our
try it
savior
again.
and join us.
Oh, like we need 4 people essentially. I've got a friend as well who loves zombies that if I can get him involved in. We used to play zombies back in the day.
What do you
So
think, Tarl? I know you don't play a whole lot of this stuff, but
Yeah, no, I like a bit of COD. I just don't have the latest one yet. So, yeah, if you guys are organising another sesh, just let me know.
you have Xbox Game Pass?
No.
You could probably get a free Game Pass for a month. They've been doing a lot of those things.
I've
Can
got a
you?
trial. I've got a
Yeah.
trial I can give you. Like we always got offered them via Discord.
Yeah.
like, a month
Yeah,
trial or
I got
3
one on
month trial.
Discord as well. Yeah, yeah.
If we're gonna play a new
Yeah.
map, I'll play.
I'm in.
I'll play for 2.5 hours, and then I'll get out.
Yeah, you can tag me
See,
in.
right? It's a bit too. Being fair to Gray, it's a bit too fast and hectic for the man. He usually is playing like the sniper elite game where you've got to be slow, methodical, and do your thing, right? And then like we always kind of joke like FPS games. It's like, oh, we'll use him as a sponge. You
Yeah, but
can't do
wait,
that
but-
here.
but-
So I'm like, keep your wits about you, Gray. He's looking at shiny things and there's zombies about to actually do his backside
Okay,
in.
but I gotta come back on that one. You're right, but not entirely. So it's not a matter of the fast pace always in the game. I always use Doom as an example because in Doom in 2016 and the second one, it's an extremely fast game, and I'm like flying all over the place with Doom, and that's not bothering me at all. But in this game, it doesn't feel like Doom. I mean, to me, I can't wait for Doom. That's gonna be great.
Can your trackpad move that quick?
Sorry.
Your trackball move that quick?
Oh,
Yeah, it's all about
no
fingers, isn't
problem moving that quick. It's just that I don't see. You had mentioned the hordes, right? So the hordes I don't particularly care for, but I played Gears of War, and they had a horde mode, and I enjoyed that one because I was fighting these aliens instead of zombies. Maybe that was the difference. I don't know, but
Greg, can I suggest something? See, maybe on your own one time, jump into the level that we done. This is the one we done at the very start, the training level or training mode, right? Because it literally guides you through it there, and just dick about with it and get yourself comfortable and confident. Because thing is, right, we were trying to help you as best as we could, but it's if when you're downed, it's difficult to always pick you up unless you've got quick revive, and then if someone else drops, and then we're kind of we're men, so trying to multitask is like, what do we do next? Kill the zombies and save you. So
the other thing, it's not a huge deal, but it gets to be normal with COD, right? Is the fact that again, we're all in the game. I get booted out for no reason. And I can't even get it back in again.
It's always been there, and it's always
it's ridiculous. I'm sitting there going like, I can't get in.
I tried to get you back in, and even died at one point.
And you died trying to get me back in. That's not right either. If you're going to try to get me back in, at least there should be like a.
You can't pause a live game if you're playing multiplayer, which essentially we are. If you're playing it on your own, certainly in the olden days, you could hit escape and literally just pause your session because you're playing it locally.
There has been games though where you could actually move your character to like, let's say, the corner of a
safe
building
zone or something.
And you're safe for about a minute or 2 or 3. But they don't do that in this game. As soon as you sit still, no matter where you are, you're hoarded by 1,000 zombies. So it's like, oh shit.
They just want you to keep playing.
Yeah, we should have done it when we had 2 alive.
Like that.
Yeah.
There we go.
What was that? Sorry,
next time when we have the couple of runners that were guiding around the map, we could have done it then. We should have done.
Well, there was this one guy. We came on the map. I forgot what his name was, Razor or something. And he was level 153.
Yeah.
Holy.
He didn't stay long.
We all just stand behind him the entire game.
But is that a zombie level or a COD level though? Because I was going to say some things do carry across. So, like,
I'll tell you, man, he knew those maps backwards, forwards, and in between.
You've got to listen. See the people that play the zombies. Like, if you're good at zombies, you're usually amazing at multiplayer and vice versa because the skills kind of carry across. You've got to be a smart cookie to do all these puzzles and stuff. So, but yeah, listen, I'm aware there's a shit ton to talk about, Gray, so unless you want to add anything else to COD.
We're good. We all had fun. That's the main thing. So let's talk about it. We're going to move on to Matt. Matt's going to talk a little bit on Steam Early Access and somebody getting put in jail.
Wasn't me.
Go ahead, Matt. What's that all about?
So, game developers sentenced to prison, halting game development. So in a shocking turn of events, the developer of a Steam Early Access game, Fortune's Run, known as Dizzy, i.e., in there, has announced that it will be unable to update or complete the game for the next 3 years due to a prison sentence. Wow. I'm like, whoa, how? Yeah.
What did he do?
So it was revealed in the Steam update. Let's just say that he was a very violent person in the past, and his violence caught up with him. So he has a 3-year sentence that he has to. What did
he punch somebody in a bar? He should have done it in the UK. They would have said it was great.
He might have done. Yeah, he probably. I want to build this game, and everybody's like, nah. And then he's like, oh yeah, that's it. I'm punching you out. Bash.
I don't think we've ever heard of something like that. I mean, I'll be back to the game in 3 years.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be completed in 2026, but now that's kind of uncertain. Disney has shared. Yeah. The case is about 5 years old, that they have been going through a legal process for that entire time, as well as working on this game. They expressed a regret of their past actions, which is always the way, isn't it?
Too little, too late.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. He was also being in development with his wife, so she was helping out with the game. But due to her illness, she didn't want to do it anymore. She took a step back. It's also because she wasn't interested in developing games anymore as well.
Probably not interested in him since he's going to jail.
That's it, yeah. I'll catch you on the flip side.
Yeah.
So other than despite that unfortunate circumstance of his demise, or his incarceration, is that the right word? Not demise.
Yeah. 6.5, more or less.
Yeah,
that's the $3 word, incarceration.
Yeah, he does feel very hopeful that in the future,
what, to get out?
Yeah. I don't know, prison or the game out. I don't know which one yet.
To get out.
Yeah, so he said that the game is sold well enough to potentially enable them to finish the game, or himself to finish the game once he's been released on prison. I quote from himself, I want to underline that I am no longer in financial dire straits since the game actually sold okay. So I should be able to afford rent once I get out, which is nice. They also mentioned that there's not much content left to work on, and that he's been making stubs and prototypes of the missing levels in their spare time. He's got lots of spare time right now.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Is he like a PC in the Slammer so that he can continue coding?
I think there's a shared one, isn't there? More than likely, isn't
the only
one,
thing
mate. Stop being selfish. Keep coding this game. We want to play the game. I don't care you're in the Slammer. I want to play this game.
Yeah, there you go.
Prisons are pretty luxurious these days, right? So
yeah,
he can get his own PC.
Tellies and phones and oh my god.
Yeah, my guess is that the reason they're not going to let him work on the game in prison is he already admitted that he was violent, so he'd probably pick up the computer and kill somebody with it, and that would
absolutely. That's it. Yeah, I need more RAM.
Bam.
There you go. Yeah. So there's the news for the undoubtedly left fans of the game in a little bit of a disappointed mood, to say the least. But yeah. Maybe it'll get completed once he's done his 3 years.
What was the name of the game again? You said?
Fortune's Run.
Fortune's Run. Okay, so when he comes back out, they'll go Fortune's Run. What? And everybody will go like, what? What game?
Yeah, I've been past that now.
Yeah, Fortune's Run 2 now. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Just change the name. That's
someone else is doing it. Uh-oh.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Danger.
What else you got for us, Mr. Matt?
Nintendo emulation.
It's easy for you to say,
yeah.
Tama.
So there you go. So yeah, Nintendo has upped their anti-emulation measures. So since 2024, that was the big year for Nintendo's emulator takedowns, with the likes of Yuzu and Ryu Jinx. I think that's what they're called. Both biting the dust after facing the company's wrath. Grr. And I think we all know about their wrath since we keep hearing about their
that's
nonsense going on. So part of this is their legal stance on emulation. I said the motion. Nintendo's patent attorney Koji Nishiro clarified.
What?
Sure, you butchered that. You butchered
Koji
Nishiro. That's a new game coming out.
Some Japanese fella. That's probably more respectful.
Yeah. So this fella who works for them clarified that while emulators themselves aren't inherently illegal, they can become illegal depending on how they are used. For example, if an emulator copies a program belonging to the game device, it's imitating and constitutes a copyright infringement.
So,
Yeah.
so that means some emulators that supposedly don't change stuff are fine and legal to play Nintendo games on.
Sort of, yeah.
It's a very
Yeah.
grey
If it
area.
doesn't, if it doesn't copy
know.
any of their originals across, and it's not played as proper.
This brings back the question that we've all asked many times over, and that is, why don't you just give up trying to stop the anti-emulation that proves to you that the crowd out there that are playing on PC would love to be able to play your games, and you'd probably make a lot more money and a lot more popularity if you just stop going after anti-emulation and just put it on PC, which means all the anti-emulation guys are gone, and you can sit there and make money.
Well, but emulation guys, not anti-emulation.
Well,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Imagine if the
emulation
new
guys, yeah,
Switch.
no anti.
Imagine
Right,
if the new Switch just had access to the entire back catalogue of Nintendo games. I
It
mean,
does.
they'd make an absolute fortune.
It kind of does. Not maybe everything, but a lot of them. It's called Nintendo Online.
Yeah, but there's not much on there, I don't think. I mean, there's
Yes,
decent
there
games,
is.
yeah. Really?
Yeah, there's quite. Yeah. They don't have every single game because literally, I don't think they want to put every single game on. They don't have the rights to every single game, but there's a lot on there, Tar, between several platforms. And I reckon they'll bring out
Huh.
GameCube emulation for Nintendo Online on another tier package when they bring out Switch 2. That's what everyone's saying. Have a look
wow.
if you've got a
That's
subscription.
great.
There's
Yeah.
quite a lot. I mean, you've got NES, SNES. You've even got Mega Drive, Genesis in North America.
No way.
You've got
How
Game
is this passed me
Gear.
by?
Yeah, get on there. It's cheap.
This
Nintendo
is
Online
why
as well.
we have you on
You've-
this podcast, Tarl.
You've got
Thank you.
N64, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. There's many platforms.
I can't
on
believe
there.
Trevor knows all the names. Game Boy Color, I completely forgot about until you brought it
Yeah,
up.
man, that's old school.
Mate, because these were some of my consoles when I had a Game Boy, I had a NES, a SNES. Mate, I had all these consoles when I grew up before I had a PC.
Right,
PCs were
did
really
my son.
expensive back in the
He
day.
still does. It's amazing.
So
Yeah.
are we pro emulation on this channel?
If,
We can
if you
neither
own a-
confirm nor deny.
if you've got the original
Right.
game, then you should be allowed to. Remember the copying of Nintendo Switch cartridges? It was that MIG thing. It was called. I think it was the Russians literally bringing it out. These little chips that would clone the original if you owned the original game, and it was talking about backing up your copy of your game. You should be allowed to do that because physical media is dying. In the UK, physical media has dropped
Pretty much on
4.4% or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty low here
So-
too. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Anyway,
There's a Linux distro called Batocera. Have you guys heard of that?
yes. I don't use it much. I don't use
explain for our
emulation
folks
much.
out there that have no idea, like me.
Yeah.
Basically, it's just it's a unique Linux distro which brings together pretty much all of the emulation programs into what you can build your own PC, put it on even a small Raspberry Pi, connect up a controller, and you have a little machine that can play pretty much any game from any system. Obviously, legally, you have to have the rights to do that. But
Yes.
it is very simple just to put together a little box where you have access to pretty much every past gaming console that exists. And
Isn't
it
it
is
kind of like the
amazing.
when you go into an arcade occasionally, you see one game that basically is thousands of games. So you go in there and you put your quarters in or
Yeah.
whatever, and it says what game you want. You just go down the list
You
of
got
all
it,
the old
whole
games.
list.
that-
They're technically illegal. Those they're called cabinets, and literally they've changed the board or they've hacked the board, and so that you can literally play a bunch of them. They're usually illegal, but I
Oh,
mean,
so
Really?
I won't
Yeah,
say
it's supposed
anything
to be
to these
way around.
people.
Yeah, that's it. So,
I mean, I'll
yeah, go on.
sorry, carry on, Matt.
No, go on.
Oh, it's not important, or I would have
Oh,
jumped it again. Don't worry.
Yeah, fine. Is yours like that, Trev, by any chance? Are you...
Well, that's the point I was going to make. I didn't think it was super. I've got two gaming cabinets behind me, but they're licensed to have several games on each because they're from the same
On the same-
developer, just
Yeah.
10 games or something. No,
Yeah.
they're genuinely
Mhm.
legit. I would just say that they were they're from Arcade One Up. You've probably heard of those guys. Arcade
Yes, yeah.
One
Oh,
Up.
yeah.
Yeah.
instead of them.
Cool, nice,
As
yeah.
soon as he says his license, all of a sudden you hear woo in the other window.
Yeah, flashing lights everywhere.
Bye. I'll be back in 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah, you can help him with that development then. There you go.
I'll be making a game when I get out.
And Matt, when you talk about your third article, just look directly under your third article to my top article. Do you see a similarity there, my man? You muppet. My top article. Your third article, my first.
Well, I didn't like the one that you put, so I put that one there.
Yeah,
Right,
that was it.
go,
But you can have that one.
No,
It's all
fine.
good. It's all good because this was quite long. Yeah. Do. If I need to spludge in, I'll spludge in.
Well,
Wait a minute.
we'll share it. It's
Sludge
just Matt
in?
not
in.
doing his
What's a
research.
sludge
That's
in?
all.
Is
Yeah.
that like
I
Bryce-
did the research. I bet Bryce
It's
says
just-
so much more
No,
than me.
I mean you didn't read it. Sure,
I didn't go that far. I skimmed.
Yeah,
I
you
looked at
did
the bits that you've added, and then I was like, nah. And then I kind of like went through.
he
other
likes
things.
to wing it, man.
Yeah, you know me.
It's
Yeah.
just like,
So who is covering the article? You or Trav? What's going on?
Trevor's got to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Once I finish with my whatever it is I'm talking about now, Nintendo's thing.
Going to jail. Well, actually, both of them are relevant. You
Yeah,
can go to
yeah,
jail
yeah.
with both.
So Trev's
articles,
going
to
to
be
continue
fair.
and talk about a Halo and a flight sim, and Matt's going to make
Yeah,
his
he's doing
game and emulate.
It isn't a super long article, to be fair. It's
Yeah.
well, maybe the one you had was Matt. To be fair, I thought it was relevant because it's pretty
Yeah.
massive, really.
It is relevant. Yeah.
Xbox have been Microsoft, whatever. I've been holding on. Well, slowly but surely holding off releasing a lot of their IP to other platforms, and then they started relenting bit by bit, and they brought over some games. They brought over like Sea of Thieves. That's the big one that rings a bell. There was a few others as well, but now you think, well, they're never going to release their Holy Grail, which is the crown jewel is Halo. That is their mascot, like Sonic is for Sega, like Mario is for Nintendo. It's Master Chief for Microsoft, and they are going to be bringing out a bunch more games for other platforms. And I think that's the top boy from Microsoft, not the Xbox guy, Phil Spencer, but Nadella, is that his name? Top head of Microsoft. I think he's the one that's pushing the buttons going, listen, why are we doing this exclusive thing? Like, this is nuts. Why do we do this? So people buy more Xboxes? Xbox, the console's not super popular. PlayStation usually wins most generations, if not like all of them, which sucks. But essentially, an Xbox will be. Xbox could be anything. Like I can on my Samsung TV, I can cook up a controller and load the Xbox app, and I've got Xbox Ultimate on the go. I can do it through my phone. You can do it through an Amazon Fire Stick. They're getting it to the stage where you don't actually need a physical console because they know they won't be able to beat PlayStation, but they are good at the software because they own Activision Blizzard, they own Bethesda, massive game studios. So they've got the software at their disposal, and they're literally going, right, let's not do an exclusive thing. Let's just put it on all these platforms, including Switch 2. Oh, imagine that, Matt. Imagine you're on a flight or something up to Edinburgh, right? You're on a flight in June, come to see Grain,
Or a choo-choo, yeah.
Or a choo-choo. Well, to be a choo-choo is probably better. 4.5
Maybe
hours.
chug.
You're on the choo-choo, and you've got the Switch 2 and the tabletop mode, and you're absolutely smashing the shit out of some zombies in COD Black Ops 6 and probably scaring some passengers and kids in the process. That would be possible because they're releasing all these things here, and it is only it's a rumor. It's a heavy rumor. It's not been confirmed. But why would they not do it? The plan, from what people are saying here, is bring out older stuff first. So let's bring out all the first Halo games, like the first 3. What did we go up to? Halo 5 or something, plus add-ons like ad hoc titles, and bring them all. Just port them over.
Yeah, the
and then
Master
bring them
Chief
out.
Collection.
Well, that could be one, yeah, because that's like 3 games in one, and they've basically just overhauled them. I liked the old Halos, Matt. To be honest, yeah, I did. I got a bit bored after 3, a bit long in the tooth, if I've been honest with you, mate. I remember playing Halo 1 when I was in first year at uni.
Did you?
Wow, it was a long time ago. Jesus, and I remember that I should be studying for exams. I wasn't. I was trying to get to the end. I remember that, and the buggy thing at the end of Halo 1, where you're like having to bomb it all the way through, and then can I do the dive onto the Warhog or whatever it's called, the plane, thing, you know, and everything's blown up behind you, and I'm playing this with my pal Cammy, and I'm like, I should really be studying. We should be studying. Yeah, screw this. Let's finish it. And we're just in awe of this game. And now they're bringing it out to other platforms. So I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that, Matt, but I think that's pretty cool. PlayStation included.
It is PlayStation, Switch 2. Yeah, one of the others that they've said. The decision was part of the Microsoft's broader executive titles. I think the CEO, Phil Spencer, has also stated that there's no red lines in their portfolio when it comes to going multi-platform. They really want to get this out and maybe show the route for other platformers, because I know PlayStation are not in any habit of sharing any games.
Well,
most part.
if Xbox is sharing and putting things on PS5 now, why is PS5 not going to reciprocate back to Xbox?
Exactly. Yeah, I think
they don't need to.
Yeah.
They don't need to.
Yeah,
They're the biggest selling console.
Well, I'm not saying they should. I understand that part of it, but I'm saying, but still, if you've got an agreement going on where some of this is coming over from Xbox, why would you not want to throw a few things?
They've got the consoles in the living rooms, right? So simple as that.
Yeah.
They don't need to, mate. And to be fair, they do make. Sony, PlayStation are really good at their first party, their Sony studio games, the PlayStation studio games, should I say. Like Horizon, The Last of Us, Days Gone, and it still pisses me off that they kibosh Ben Studios and stopped Days Gone 2. Days Gone is literally my top 3 or 5 games of all time, up with The Last of Us. So good, and they didn't make a second one. Like, it's an emotional pull. They do the first player games, like the story games, so well, and they throw
RPG stories.
They're so good. That's the kind of game I love. But yeah, it makes sense, man. Like, if you take Switch out the occasion because they're their own little bubble, you have a console and you have a Switch. You don't kind of put them in the same category.
It is kind of weird. It's a console technically, but it's their own like world. Everybody goes PS5, Xbox. Nintendo. They're there.
Do you think they'll go the way of Sega and stop developing the hardware and just be a software development company?
Yeah, it's possible, man.
Some people are saying that they're trying to monopolize on like a Netflix for games style.
I've been hearing stories about that for a long time, and it hasn't happened yet.
Well,
yeah. I mean,
if you look
games as a service, that's what they want to do, probably.
That's it.
If you look at their plan for the next few years, they are making another Xbox. In fact, their next Xbox, I think, is rumored to come out at the end of 2026. They're basically trying to beat it's either 26 or 27. I think it's end of 26 because they want to get ahead of Sony in the race, and they're saying this one will blow everything out of the water. So I think they're going to have one massive throw of the dice. But they see what Nintendo done with their console. Was there any monumental new on the latest?
Know.
I mean, no. Actually, if anything, no. Generally, no. There wasn't anything. They don't do like a Nintendo and they try and bring out the best console, the best hardware they can at the time. It is an Xbox Series X is more powerful than a PlayStation 5, not by a huge amount, by a small amount, but it's what you do with the hardware at the end of the day. So it's not just about the teraflops, unfortunately.
There's nothing really new, is there?
No, exactly. But
for a while, anyways.
Top of the new Xbox that maybe comes out in like a year or two ahead of PS6, they'll be bringing out a handheld, which they have admitted to they're working on, because I think they want a kind of Xbox Series S and X scenario where these two play together. If you bring out a game for Xbox Series X, you've got to bring it out for the S as part of the conditions, which is a ball ache for some developers. They're like, why am I developing something that's 1440p max and struggles? But they've got to. It's part of the conditions. The new handheld that they'll bring out will probably be a same kind of deal. Make sure your game can scale between both of them and don't have two ecosystems, because that backfired for Sony. It worked for a while with their PSP and Vita, and then it just kind of started backfiring in terms of lost sales and whatnot. So it's exciting times, boys, between that and the NVIDIA cars coming out. So bring it on. Give me all the shinies.
Yeah.
All right. We wanted to talk about God of War Ragnarok?
Oh, yes, baby. Oh, it's a quicker one, this. By the way, Mr. Great, a little small caveat. don't worry about the time, my man, including that extra 10 minutes I've got to play with. On my other screen it's an hour and a half to launch. Don't worry, man, we're good.
Cool.
Yeah.
T-minus.
Well, maybe we'll do a 3-hour show. No, go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
we bloody will not.
4 hours. Let's do the same as COD. 5-hour
It's
show.
still got to
There
be
you go.
under the 210, aka 2 hours, because it's
I know,
TikTok
so you can make it
edits,
to
people.
TikTok. I get it. I get it.
TikTok.
Hey, TikTok's not going to exist in a couple of weeks, right?
Oh, that's
Sorry.
true,
In
too.
America,
America, yeah.
Well,
Well,
once
got the right idea.
Once it's gone in America, then you don't have to bother anymore.
Yeah, there you go.
I can't
Okay.
believe how many people
Been
use it over
exclusive.
here. They said 170 million. That's more than half the country. My country.
well, they did
170
get
million.
great.
Like, what?
They did get a year's notice to sell the local version of it off to someone else. They did have a year.
Oh,
to
yeah, they
do
had.
it,
Oh, yeah, no, they had plenty of time.
and they didn't. So
Right.
They just don't want to, though, right? Why
Yeah,
would
they don't
they?
want
Well,
to.
there's still a deal going on in the background that could result in solving this whole thing, but they're
Oh,
still
Mr.
not
Beast.
pulling the trigger on it though. Still not pulling the
Mr.
trigger.
Beast,
on it.
that big a shout, actually,
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're all right time-wise. Don't worry about it, boys.
Yeah.
The only reason I mention this, I usually mention some of the free games coming out, and Gray's got some Xbox stuff coming up shortly as well. But there is a game catalogue. There is a PlayStation Game Pass as well to kind of rival the Xbox Game Pass. And sometimes you get some gems in there. Sometimes you'll get some absolute guff in there.
Mm.
But this PlayStation Pass, there's 5+ entries in it. The rest of them I do not care about. Generally, I look at them and I'm like, whatever. But the main star is God of War Ragnarok. And you have to have a subscription to play it, but you only need the kind of, there's 3 tiers. You need the kind of second tier and up to basically get this game included. And it's a no-brainer because Gray's played it, I've played it. I assume, I don't know, Matt, have you played it, Taro?
No.
Any of the God of Wars?
No.
No.
I need to.
Matt?
You need
haven't
to-
played- Wow.
I need to.
Wow.
When
Jay,
they
you
bring it
missed-
out to Xbox Game Pass.
Wow. Well, I mean,
It is on PC. It's on PC.
it is on
It
PC.
is, yeah.
Yeah, it's. I wish they'd make a third one, to be honest with you, Gray, and just call it a trilogy of. Because the thing is,
They will.
I
They
didn't
will.
play the old God of Wars, right? Because I'm not really into Greek mythology. It's not my thing. But he goes through from era to era, and I don't really know how that works if you're a god, but whatever. He goes around basically smacking gods about.
Well, they're right. They're
which
right.
is
Their
well-
own story, but the way they wrote this universe or whatever has been pretty good.
So how did he get from the Greeks to the North mythology?
It-
Like,
it-
how does that tie in?
I don't know
They
the
never
entire lore.
tell
but,
you.
but going all the way back on God of War, there's something about what they built on this character that he's apparently the only one that can transcend across the different god universes, Greek, Roman,
You do
whatever.
hear him mention it, don't you? The Greek stuff and the Norse mythology stuff. You hear him feeding back to his olden days, don't you, about this Greek
Mhm.
god that he fought and blah, blah, blah. So,
I mean,
It's-
if I remember some of the lore, they said also that the character is kind of like the one that polices all of them. It makes things the way even when one universe gets a little out of hand or something, then here comes Kratos to slap him back.
yeah. He's like the oh god, what are they called? The Celestials in
Yeah.
Marvel.
Yeah,
The big, massive, bloody robot flying god things that go about and basically smash things up. No, God of War, I was always fascinated with Norse mythology. To this day, like, I still love it. Like, I'm not a religious person at all.
well then how
It's
come you
not
didn't play a
my
lot
cup
of AC
tea.
Valhalla?
But that was so repetitive, mate. Don't get me started.
Wait a
with
minute,
myself.
wait a
I'll
minute.
rip them a new one.
Wait,
I'll rip
how
them.
could it be repetitive when all they did was put out DLC after DLC after DLC?
Because it's the
The same
type-
stuff you
it's
have to
like
do
Far
in the
Cry.
DLC.
It's rinse and repeat. It's always the same bloody thing.
It's a bit like COD Zombies.
Matt
See, I
agrees
talk
with
about
me.
AC, and these
Same
guys
thing.
all they say is rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat.
It
Hey,
is.
hey, hey,
In a big
are we-
world, rinse and
Are
repeat.
we going to get started
takes
in
you forever
Ubisoft
to
and
get
rip
there.
them a new one? You've got
Yeah.
no defence, my man. Ubisoft are on their arse right now. You know
Mm.
it.
I'll be talking
We know
about
it.
their ass in a minute.
Down with
Yes,
it.
we will.
Yeah,
We will.
they're about
Yeah,
to destroy another game.
But anyway,
Okay.
yes. So
All I care about
it's-
is my
it's-
Assassin's Creed. So
It's on the
Yeah.
Xbox. It's on the. Actually, we go top Xbox in the brain. It's on the PlayStation Game Pass for January. It doesn't say what day exactly. It usually comes halfway through the month.
don't read my story before I get there.
No, it's PlayStation. PlayStation.
I
Still the
know.
same one, my man. But yeah, Norse mythology fascinates the hell out of me. It really does. If I was going to be religious, it'd be that stuff. I mean, I've been careful here because religion's a very delicate subject. Normally, religion's pretty boring to me in general, like most of them, all of them. But then you get Norse mythology and they want to die because they know they're going to have a big piss up in Valhalla with like Odin's son and Thor and Freya and just get wasted.
We need to go back to those days.
Beautiful.
That's
You
what I
have to
think
have
we
an
should do.
afterlife. That would be a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, take me now, kill me. I'm going to get pissed with Big Thor and his hammer and we're going to like smash people up. That's great.
Yeah.
You gotta think, in that kind of an afterlife, boy, guys, it must be really crowded in Valhalla because there's a whole bunch of people.
But do you not remember the movies when they depicted Valhalla as almost like another realm?
Yeah.
Which is pretty smart. It's another dimension, which is really cool, actually. And you saw, what's his name? The British actor that plays Heimdall. Can't remember his bloody name. Idris Elba.
Oh, yes.
That was cool. That was really cool. So anyway, right, moving on. There's plenty more news to talk about. The last little piece I've got that I wanted to bring this up just for some shock and awe. Boys, COD games usually cost a lot to make. You're not stupid. You couldn't give me an exact price, but you could say
£5, maybe 10.
Yeah, £10.50.
Well, I'll give you
change.
I'm going to give you a couple of examples. There was an article I was reading here. It says, according to Activision's current Call of Duty head, Patrick Kelly, via court filings, this is information you can get, Freedom of Information Acts and whatnot. We know the development cost for 3 Pacific COD titles range from, you sit down, $450 million. This is per title, to $700 million for a title. I mean, these titles are Black Ops 3, Modern Warfare, and Black Ops Cold War. It says here Black Ops 3 was developed over 3 years for $450 million, sold 43 million copies. 2019's Modern Warfare had a similar multi-year cycle, but it jumped to over $640 million and is now 41 million copies sold. But wait for it, and this blows my mind for a very good reason. The biggest figure that we've got is 2020 Black Ops Cold War, which was over $700 million to develop. I mean, that game isn't amazing. I wouldn't say it's shit, but what the actual bloody hell? What, 700 million for a game that was average?
Well, I can tell you one
smoking like bloody Cuban cigars and like.
Well, that's actually the budget so far for Star Citizen, right there.
Pretty well, kind of. Yeah,
well,
couple billion.
If you think about it, you can't even get mad at Star Citizen anymore because these guys spend $700 million on one game.
Oh wait, I'm going to blow you out the water with even that one, Gray. And I just found this out literally just now, and I believe it. At the top of the overall list, though, not just COD. That's a very good point. Listen, I think they get it back. I mean, it's the
well, you said 41 million,
43 million, right?
43 million
times
$60. Right?
No, Greg, you need to look bigger than that. That's the physical copies or digital copies sold. What about the battle passes? What about the in-game purchases?
Oh, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking just sheer. That number has to be big anyway.
If they sold it just in copies sold, they'd be screwed. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
You know what, Trev? I wouldn't honestly be surprised if those numbers are even not as big as that. If the numbers are even bigger than that. There's a phrase called Hollywood accounting, and I watched a video recently that talked about how movies, like some of the Marvel movies that they said were, I don't know, $500 million to make, they turned out to be something like 1.2 billion to have been made. Wow. And they just use all sorts of, accountancy trickery to hide the money.
Cook the books, mate. Cook the books.
Yeah, they're cooking the books.
Money here, money
I wouldn't
there.
be surprised.
Yeah.
A lot of times they'll take the losses of one movie and apply it to a different movie that is making profit and going like
Batgirl, anyone? Batgirl.
Or they'll loan money to like a sister company and then pay it back like, pennies on the dollar to say that they made a loss. So they don't have to pay out on like royalties and stuff. It's crazy the things.
That's why they pay the big time accountants and finance guys all that money.
Yeah.
Try to find ways to do this. Come on.
I'm going to blow your socks off even more. That's just some of the COD titles that are really up there. The leader that I can say here is MiHoYo. I think that's how you pronounce it. The guys that make...
destroyed that.
No, I think I don't know. I give me a 6.5 out of 10 there. Genshin
7,
Impact. 8. Genshin Impact, yeah.
Yeah.
We've heard of that one. It's a free-to-play game. It has cost them over $900 million since launching in 2020. But they are still making money off that
Really? Wow.
to this day. So,
free game.
Yeah, I mean, they must be doing something right.
Selling a lot of skins, man.
Star Citizen pops in here.
Boxes.
So far, they're about $630 million they've brought in. Cyberpunk, that was a disaster and a mess when it came out. And I wonder what the $441 million for the base game, right? And Phantom Liberty expansion. But would it have been cheaper if they hadn't made an arse of it at the start?
Yeah.
Possibly. I don't know. So
to answer Mercian, by the way, apparently Call of Duty makes something like 1.5 billion per quarter.
There you go.
Per quarter?
That's the shit. That's the battle passes and in-game purchases.
Yeah,
and
that's including everything. That's
do you see
money on past games too. Do you
see why Microsoft wanted Activision so bad?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why.
That's insane.
And then, so you can't really compare that. Like I was talking about The Last of Us, right, and the Sony games, right. That bear in mind the figure I'm giving you here. Last was Part 2, $220 million. That's still a shit ton of money. They can't have in-game purchases and stuff like other games,
right?
So they have to rely on selling a lot of copies. But that's a lot of money for one game where you don't have anything added on. $220 million for one RPG type game or whatever kind of game that is, I guess, story-driven game. But yeah, so I don't want to delve in that too much. It's I could go on and on, but that absolutely blows my socks off. But then I think the king will be GTA 6, which is rumoured to be $2 billion to produce.
Right.
$2 billion
with in about 5 years.
They'll make that back, though, no bother, because the amount of
just
money
on
they
the loading
make for
screen in itself.
Yeah, GTA Online is what it's all about. That's where you make the money, man. That is always the online stuff, the shark dollars or whatever they're called.
Yeah, shark credit cards in it. Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they made that back just in pre-orders.
Remember we covered this? We covered it last week or the week before. So they will sell. They will have a shit ton in pre-orders alone when they go live. So they won't get it all back, but that'll be a massive start.
They're predicting $1 billion. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, was it $1 billion? 1B? Yeah. There you go. So another $1 billion will come
in
easy
pre-orders. That's like crazy.
It'll be released in PC in a year or two after that, and then the shark credit cards and all that stuff. So, you're up next, Mr. Tar, I believe.
Yeah, Mr. Tar, I moved you up a little so we could hear from you.
Yeah, man.
Oh, that was unexpected. Thank you.
Yeah, look at them. So, things move around.
Caught me by surprise there.
Magic. They love doing it. They love doing
your
that.
pants down.
Yeah. I was just reading my book. I wanted to talk today about the new Intel B570 release. And you know what? I'm pretty excited by this. Some details. Basically, it's coming out about GPU, £220. Right? Sorry?
I want to make sure we're talking about GPU.
Yes, the ARC B570, which is following the B580, which was released or was announced a short while ago, coming out at £220, which probably means, I think, $220 as well. Yep. And the reviews have come out today, and it looks good. It's got very good 1440 and 4K performance, really good ray tracing. Again, this is for the value of it. You know, it's not as good at ray tracing as a 4090, but it's still very good for the amount you're paying. It's really cheap. I mean, how many current gen graphics cards are below £250 or dollars?
Yeah, like
absolutely, yeah.
And it's got a couple more gigs of RAM more than the cards that it's competing against. So it's got 10 gigabytes of RAM rather than the 8 gigabytes. The competitors are really the 4060, the RTX 4060, and the RX 7600, which both have 8 gigabytes. So there is a bit of a downside from the looks of it. It has still a bit of an issue with frame timing and 1% lows. That's not a huge thing, but it might be to some people, especially real hardcore gamers, and it might not be the right card if you're playing esports titles that where you've got many hundreds of frames. But for the price, it looks really, really good. So here's my question. Considering how long it's taken AMD to get to where they are, which is, I don't know, 10% market share or something like that, Intel have been in this game now for less than 3 years, and they've got what I consider to be a decent entry-level card that is good value, and I think is, it's a good proposition. Do you guys think they're going to break open this market and take some of NVIDIA's share? Because I think they are.
I think so, yeah. I'd say they're in the right path for it.
Sure.
Even when I was looking at this card, I was actually quite eager and was going, if I needed to go that way, I think that would be my step, out of the pockets of others and give it to the small one here. Especially with the quality.
It's totally feasible when you're talking about 219, 220.
Yeah.
There was a comment made by Steve at Gamers Nexus on their video, which said, if NVIDIA released a card that was this spec at $220, people would be gobbling it up.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that they won't be is because Intel haven't proven themselves yet. And that's a fair comment. That is a fair comment.
The problems they're experiencing at the moment, you wonder how much that affects or doesn't affect what's going on.
I think with Battle Mage, the only problems that really exist right now are a very small driver overhead and the frame timing. That's it. And
Intel in general, Intel with their CPUs as well, they're struggling.
Oh yeah, but it's a different division, right? You can kind of separate the two.
The bad press covers everything. That's unfortunately.
But I think this is a good card. I do think that if this had NVIDIA on the box, the name NVIDIA on the box, it would sell like hotcakes.
Yeah. Well, why? I mean, that's possibly part of the reason why it's as cheap as it is. They know they've got a lot to prove, so they can't go in there with big, massive price tags because they've got two good players, one of them specifically just a million miles ahead of the competition to try and compete with, and they won't even bother trying at the top end. I don't think that'd be suicide for them to try it. Although I say that, AMD are not competing at the very top end of their graphics cards, so I think we get to that stage where their graphics cards are competing with 4090. They can't even touch the current gen, the new gen.
The thing that I would like to see Intel do, if it is, when I'm looking at it saying that it equals the 4060 at 220, I'm thinking like, well, then if they sold one for like $100 more at 320, could they rival a 4070 or a 4070 Super like mine? That would be interesting. Because if they came out with something that would match a 4070 or 4070 Super at a price point under 350, hell, I know a lot of people probably want to buy that.
I think whatever the C is going to stand for in our next generation, I think that's what it's going to happen.
Oh,
could be
interesting.
Looks good. Looks good either way. I mean, I'm glad because some people just are so priced out of the market when it comes to GPU, and then they get really very disappointed. And I get it. But if Intel can actually, do a couple more tweaks and work on the card a bit more, and come out with something just a little bit better than this one, or like you say, the C whenever it comes. I mean, that really opens it up for the so-called lower end. If you want to call it that.
But don't forget, guys, this is less than 3 years of progress. This is really good.
Yeah,
really
it is.
Good.
Yeah. For the level they're aiming at, they're doing a really good job. They're hitting the ball, they're smashing the ball out of the park.
That's probably where they put all their money. That's why the chips went down.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I know we like shiny things. Everyone does. But let's not forget that 95% of gamers are using cards that are about 300 quid.
Yeah.
Or older cards. So, I don't know. I'm no big fanboy of any company. I'm kind of, vendor. I have no vendor bias. But what I am a big fan of is competition in the market, right? And when you've got NVIDIA that have got a 90% share or thereabouts, it's just not good for the consumer. So I'm hoping that Intel do something good.
Yeah. I do see this, Tarl. You mentioned here you put a couple of notes like underneath it. VRAM 10 gig. Now, I mean, for its level of card, that's fine. Like, that should easily handle 1440p game, and even to an extent 4K. But when you look at the kind of level of 4K in terms of textures, you're starting to really ideally want 16 gig and above, like some of the new gen cards have by default. So maybe it wouldn't be, I would say, just from what I can see here, it'll smash it out the park for 1440p. I don't think you want to be touching 4K with this unless you don't want high frames.
Yeah, I mean, look,
or low
if you're
frames
going to
even.
run it at 4K on a 220-pound graphics card, you're going to need to turn the settings down. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's, I don't know all of the details because I haven't had the time to look at it, but there is what they're saying is a non-linear kind of power increase. So it's pretty good at 1080, but it's actually really good for the money at 1440 and actually very good for the money at 4K. How many people are going to use it for 4K? I don't know, but
not many.
It's having an option below £250 or dollars is just fantastic.
Let's see if I come over to the UK and buy them there. I can bring back over here and make a better profit.
Oh, hey, here's another thing. You might get. I don't know if this happens now. You might get your VAT back when you leave the country, or unless bloody 2-tier Kiers scrap that one as well. I don't really know. Like, some countries, when you leave, you can claim back the tax because you're not a citizen. So you might save a fortune. Take 20% off of 220. What's that, like £22 or something?
Bucks.
Whatever. 44. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't count. You save a small fortune.
Yeah, let me think about that.
You'll need to take it out of the box, though, because as soon as you take out US Customs, is that a brand new product, sir?
No.
It's not in this box. No.
And then you start going like, what brand new product would only be equal to a 4060? I mean, come on, you know.
So why are you carrying a GPU about you? It's like, well, don't judge me like some people take a dog from A to B. I've just got a pet GPU. Don't judge
there's drugs in there.
Yeah, right.
You'll be fine.
And they'll look at the video card and go, nah, there couldn't be. Meanwhile, I'm all tucked inside.
Have you seen a 4090? You could store loads of drugs in that. That's huge, to be fair.
Not the 5090 though. That's a real shame.
It's like I'm glad you mentioned that. The 5080 and the 5090 can both fit in my rig, and the 4090 sure as hell couldn't. No way. It's two slots. How did you engineer that?
I could fit that in my media center. That's just.
Man, if I could afford a 5090, I would, but it's suicide. I will try and get a 5080. I am going to try.
GoFundMe page.
Did you?
I was looking, Trev, today at the actual, not actual yet because it's not out, but the rasterization improvements from Gen on Gen 4000 to 5000.
You mean the AI modeling?
The 5080 is the one that has the least amount of increase. So,
what was the percentage from the 4080 to the 5080? Did you get a percentage?
I think it's like 11% or something.
Yeah, but see, NVIDIA doesn't care because the small gain in rasterization going to the 5000 series card is nothing because they're using AI and getting.
But they care. But a lot of people do because not every game uses DLSS, and it'll take a while for all the games that have got DLSS on to be upgraded to 4.0. Rust, one of my favorite games, went from DLSS 1.0 to the latest 3.5 or somewhere it is, only a matter of weeks ago. And that was years in between. So, like, there's...
Yeah, but
rasterization is important. And if I remember rightly, Taro, the 4080 was about... I'm paraphrasing here, roughly 760 gigabits bandwidth, right? If you look at the 5080, it goes up closer to 960, 980. So when you look at it on paper, it actually looks pretty decent. It's a decent chunk. But yeah, I would like more. Of course I would like more, mate. Especially more VRAM. But
yeah,
what are you going to do?
Well, anyway. Pretty soon with what I was talking about before, you're going to get a magnifications of VRAM through AI again. So if
I don't know how. I don't think you can do that with RAM. I think
it said it might be wrong. It said in the article that I did.
You can make up VRAM. Yep. You can make up just RAM.
They're working on things that they said in the article that I read and I was reporting on there. 8 times VRAM. 8 times is what they're aiming for. I mean, I'm going like, what?
Interesting to see that. Yeah.
I mean,
right.
So if you're rocking 12 and you're going to get 8 times that, you're you're like at 100 V. I mean, it's crazy. Absolutely. But you know, the possibilities are endless. It's such a new technology, and they're finding new ways to do things with it. God knows, man, when the time comes.
I think it
Anyway,
might take a bit of time to change the hearts and minds, though, right? Because as Trev's saying, rasterization is still important for a lot of people.
Mhm.
How long is it going to take for NVIDIA to change the hearts and minds so that everyone thinks, oh, who cares about rasterization anymore?
Well, I think what may happen is they'll always have some amount of rasterization, but if AI amplifies it from there, it's gonna be much cheaper for them to be able to.
Do they though? Do they? At what point do they just stop putting the oh god, I can't remember the name of it now.
CUDA cores.
CUDA cores, thank you. Yeah, and just change them with the tensor cores so that everything's AI.
That totally can happen. There's no doubt.
Boys, they'll have to. It won't be anytime soon, and I'm only thinking logically because games. There are some games still to this day now that are still fairly current, recent, that don't have any DLSS or FSR or anything built into it. Not many. Most games worth their salt have something in there, but you need something to play with. Will they put as much into it, Tar? They might start focusing more on AI. The fact they will. So that's a given, that one.
Oh, they will. And NVIDIA will spoon feed us whatever they want us to eat, right? American Whitey's just said no fake frames. And, I think it's a sentiment that a lot of people are going to be still thinking. But I think there'll come a time when NVIDIA will just say, well, you're gonna take what we're going to give you.
Physics is a thing, guys, right? Physics is a thing, right? And Moore's Law, while it doesn't exist anymore, there's still something you can take from that. Like these cards are built on 4 nanometers, I think. When we talk about the next gen as well, Ruben, which will be going on to 3 nanometers, I think. You're getting close to the point of no return. They're only started 2 nanometers. But in fact, that production doesn't ramp up to it's either later this year or next year in Taiwan. So you're getting to the point where they physically can't fit any more transistors on, and they will have to start going more. So there is more wiggle room. There's not a hell of a lot of it, just a bit more, and then we will have to start going in other directions for our kicks.
I think they're very happy that AI can do the things that it can do and more in the future because of that one fact right there. So now it's going to be more like not Moore's law anymore. It'll be NVIDIA law.
Depending on it,
or AI law.
I think DLSS 4 is going to be a big changing point, though, right? Because you've got one real frame for every 3 fake frames. If it's good and you can't tell the difference, people will eat it up. But if it has artifacts, if it has quality issues, if it has high latency, it's not, people aren't going to want it.
I think what we'll do is we're going to go on to a little more game news, and then we're going to come back to this while we have the time. So real quickly, I want to talk about the Xbox games coming in January, or at least some of the ones that people are looking forward to. Some stuff's already come in, so I'll kind of skip over some of those. Although this is one from Matt. Apparently, it's called Rolling Hills Make Sushi, Make Friends. Matt, it's a sushi simulator. You got to get that. You got to start making sushi.
I want to get handbag simulator.
There you
Granny
go.
simulator.
You can carry all the other games in it.
yeah, that's it.
For those in the EA Sports UFC 5's coming out, or already is out, I should say. Diablo came out yesterday for PC. So that's cool. So if you have an Xbox, you can Game Pass, you can do that. Eternal Strands, which I'm hearing a lot of good things about, is coming January 28th. One of my all-time favorites, Sniper Elite Resistance, is coming in January 30th, which is means I don't have to buy it again. I can just play it on my Game Pass. And another game called Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Vector. I don't know a lot about that one, but the hubbub about it is really good. So we'll see. And if you have a Game Pass, it's all there. They are running specials a lot lately where you get 1 free month or trial of 30 days.
Or give one of us a shout. I've got one sitting month free there. So
yeah, exactly. So we can hand them out. First to Tarl, though, of course. And then we'll go from there. 1
per account. Once you've signed up for it, you can't use it again.
Right. To go on a little bit, we were talking a bit about Ubisoft before. We've had a couple of different stories that we've gone over in this podcast about Ubisoft and all the troubles they've been having and having to sell the company, all this other stuff. So the family that owns it, Guillemot, I guess you say it in French. I don't know. Has been having issues. They've been talking about taking it out of public.
Guillemot. Turismo.
It's not Italian. It's not Italian. It's
Dominic
Guillemot.
Picoco.
Guillemot. I'm a Frenchman. No, anyway. So they've been having problems because they're talking about wanting to go private again, restructuring, all this other crazy stuff because they've lost a lot of money. Their stock went down a lot. So this is going to be a bit novel. Apparently, they got into discussions with Tencent, and they figured out a way to keep the Ubisoft in the family by basically, when it comes down to it, basically selling a share of it to Tencent. And in order to be able to do that the right way and legally, they're entering into a new agreement with Tencent, and apparently they're going to use some of the Ubisoft assets and create games under the new venture. So it's just a way to be able to solve the problem of the family being able to hold on to it, because they want to make sure that they're in it and keep it. Tencent will probably own almost 10% of the shares. The Guillemot family will own about 14%, and then of course the rest of it, the shareholders, unless they go completely private. At one point, the price per share of Ubisoft in February 2021 was $84 or £84.60, dropped down to $11.41 at its low. So that'll tell you right there, you drop that much, you're in serious trouble. One of the other things that doesn't help the whole situation is Assassin's Creed Shadows is delayed again, now to March 20th. So that just pissed me off because I want to play the game already. And the information is that it wasn't done because of tweaking the game. It was done more because they didn't want to bring the game out on February 14th because of other games coming out that are big games around that time, and they didn't want competition. They want most of the focus on Assassin's Creed Shadows. So whatever, it's more of a marketing ploy than a game related ploy. So unfortunately, we have to wait again. But along those same lines, and I'm looking forward to this, is that we've been hearing rumors, a lot of rumors actually, that Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which is one of the best games in the series, was going to have a remake. So everybody got excited about the remake. Well, now apparently there's more reason to get excited because it's kind of a remake / remaster now.
Is it though?
Well, they said they're going to remake it.
Was that not Skull and Bones, Gray?
What
going to do from that?
They're going to lower the quality to match Skull and Bones.
Here's my theory.
That's what it is.
My theory about this is that they should have done this a long time ago, because nobody really wanted to see a Skull and Bones. Not to mention that they were way too late. Not to mention that they screwed a lot up. However, AC Black Flag has always been revered as a top quality game, and one of the best in the series. So it's smart for them to go back and do a remake / remaster, whatever,
and make it rubbish like the rest of the games.
There we go. So my hope is, because
they're going to do Outlaws style.
Look, they cannot afford to really have any flops from this point on. So basically, if they do the right thing, from what I'm hearing, besides it being graphically brought up to they're saying they want to bring it up to modern AAA style. So I'm like, okay. So
sorry, how many A's?
Well, AAA, but not the four, not the
quadruple,
four.
baby.
Five A's? Not Bethesda's 4A. No, that's
we are talking battery size, aren't we?
Especially when they call Starfield 4A, right? Anyway, so they're not only going to bring up the graphics, which is a given or whatever, they're also going to be working on the combat systems, some new game systems that are going to be put into the game, new ecosystems around the wildlife. So there's going to be a few different new components to the game. So, and they're talking about, rumor now is November of 2025 for that to come out. So I'm hoping, it's done like Dead Space was, because Dead Space 2023 was a true remaster and looked gorgeous. So and played well and added some new things into it too. So if they do the same thing, which is what they're comparing to, then that could be quite good, especially for Assassin's Creed fans like myself. So that's kind of it on some of the latest and greatest with the game news. And now we can come back to our discussion that we started having, and the hardware tech news is with Trev, and we're all going to discuss this. So
I'll try and go for it a bit quicker because we don't have loads of time. But Just
we have about,
really briefly.
like 15 minutes, something like that. Go ahead.
Go on as a challenge,
Yeah,
Trev.
we do.
You can do it.
By the way, really quickly, for those that don't know, Tencent are one of, if not the biggest gaming developer studio franchise, what you want to call them, in the world. They are Chinese. They're massive. They want to break more into the Western world. That's why they're doing this. And Guillemot, if that's how you pronounce them, are the majority guys that own Ubisoft, not the sole guys, the majority, and they don't want to sell the whole company. A bit like the Paramount thing, Gray. Though that one lady, I can't remember what she's called, owns a big. Yeah, she owns a big chunk of it. She doesn't want to completely give up because she loves the company. So she wants to have her cake and eat it by obviously selling so much. That's what Guillemot are doing at the moment. So it'll be interesting. It's a smart move from Ubisoft, actually, to be fair.
Oh, yeah.
Go back to the tech stuff. The most important thing here, actually, I've done it in order, and it's something I think you boys have picked up on as well. Very kind of NVIDIA to confirm that DLSS frame generation on RTX 4000 series GPUs will end up leading to lower VRAM usage, very essential, and also faster performance. So basically, the bloody drivers are going to get better. So thank you very much, NVIDIA. It means our current cards will still get more bang for our buck. And I know, Gray, that the multi-frame generation doesn't go back the way, but do you want to know something? I'm not angry about that. They've done it with this gen. The moment they're a company, they need to be able to sell this asset, especially when rasterization isn't such a massive improvement this generation. So I'm okay with that.
The reason I think it's important that they know it doesn't include the multi-frame is because for the normal person that hears that our 4,000 cards are going to get the good treatment of DLSS 4, immediately they're going to go right to multi-frame generation. Go, yeah, we're going to get that. Well, no, you're not. You're going to get all the other good stuff about it, just not that.
If you're on 4000 series, you will still get your normal frame gen, which is one real frame, one fake frame, and it keeps going and going and going. But it's the 5000 series cards, it's one real frame, 3 fake frames. It's all fake, baby. It's like nothing's natural anymore now. It's all fake. You see,
the word they throw out about fake. It's not fake per se.
No, I know.
It's just not real.
It's not. Yeah, thank you, Matt. I'll take that. The thing is, you'll need a monitor with more frames now, more hertz, and I've only got 144.
I need to get one of those 20.
Mine's still on 90.
I need to get one of these 27-inch OLED jobbies with 240 hertz or something, so I can run high 4K. That'd be nice. But I didn't know the price of them. They're just coming out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I find that pretty cool. That's a nice one from NVIDIA. They didn't have to do that. They could just go, well, that's in the past. We're going to focus on 5,000 and just keep going on. Just when you think NVIDIA couldn't be any more Billy Big Balls if they tried, being way ahead of competition as of now, they're already well and truly into the development of their next generation after that, their next architecture, which is codenamed Rubin, which she was also a scientist back in the day. They tend to name these things after famous scientists, and a lot of them famous female computer-orientated scientists, which I think is cool. They could launch as soon as the end of this year, the second half of this year. Now, before you get excited, I've just bloody upgraded my gaming card, they always start on the server center stuff. That's where they make most of their money. Do you think they make most of their money selling cars to Muppets like us? No. That's pocket change. That's what buys Jansen his new leather jacket in each generation. Where he gets his real money from, where he gets his real money from is selling to the data centers, and for the AI work that they do as well. That's why they're the number one company in the world, if not second. They're always trading blows, Microsoft and Apple. But we won't see those new Rubin cards. It'll be 2027 probably, which is fine. I can't keep up with a new bloody generation every year, so every 2 years suits me nicely. And if you Muppets peer pressure me into a 5080 Super, I'm coming to London, I'm coming to bloody Florida, I'm going to Rochambeau someone.
I think you should, just for testing purposes for the podcast.
Well, that's what the 5080's for, man.
Yeah.
Just want that frame gen, a multi-frame gen. Give me the frame.
Yeah.
We'll just interview Jansen on our show and get a free one for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
there you go.
Sure,
That'll
works,
be happy.
yeah.
Sure.
Free leather jacket as well.
But
and the last thing,
just tell Jansen that my good friend Tarl told me that you would come on the show, and I'm sure they would just fall all over themselves.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm sorry, guys. Me and Jansen aren't talking at the moment.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You didn't feature.
No, he's not giving them any freebies.
I said no fake frames, and he started to cry.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No one likes
melted.
no one likes fake silicon, boys. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the last thing I've got on the agenda, which Taro added to as well. Thank you, Taro, because I was actually looking for some information on this. Until even Taro added that one piece of information about pricing, we didn't know a hell of a lot about the new AMD Radeon graphics cards, the RX 9070 XT. What's that?
Radeon. You keep going Radeon all the time.
Is it
teasing
though?
you.
Is that not just your accent?
No, it's your accent.
My accent.
Yeah, it's Radeon. Yeah.
Radion.
Radeon. Yeah.
Everyone has an accent, by the way.
You guys
Even
have an
Gray
accent?
does.
I don't.
It's every single person. Even your dog has an accent. It's usually yelp, 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 yelp. But anyway, so yeah, you can tell I'm getting bullied when I start picking on his dog. So yeah, their pricing, we do have pricing, although like benchmarks and stuff, I haven't seen any benchmarks yet, Taro. Rumoured price, as he says, rumoured price is £489, $479. How does that work? Does anyone do math over there at AMD?
I added in the dollars and I looked it up before I did it, to Charles' comment. And because I know that they sell for like the same price, even though it's not, the
we get screwed
currency
in the UK,
exchange
basically.
is weird.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. I mean, that's what it's.
In theory, that £489, it should be $520 ish, give or take 5 or 10, right? In theory, now you guys pay your tax after, so the price you see, you always know what you need to put tax on. I prefer our system. What you see is what you'll pay always, and there is a difference between the. So normally, what they're doing these days is if you get £489, you'll get $489 because the difference in VAT, they know that they can make up from that the difference, and it's all right. But that's anyway. What do we think of the price, Tarl? I think that's a good price for the performance.
Not bad.
Performance.
I think it looks good because they're saying that the performance is at least a 4070 Ti, and in some games it even gets close to a 4080. So, I mean, that's a great price.
Yeah. It is a great price for what you're getting. I'm disappointed that they can't even touch the 5080. Like, that's their top GPU, I think, at the moment they're bringing out. And they can't even touch the 5080, never mind the 5090.
Yeah, but they don't.
So
they're
doing it
consciously.
Sorry, Gray. It's official. They can't even compete at the high end anymore. They're out. It's medium to low range. They can't compete at the top end anymore.
If you take the frame gen out of it, right? The 5080 is, I think they said, is 11% faster than the 4080. Let's say 10%. And it's in some games it is getting almost as close as the 4080. So I don't think it's going to be miles and miles behind.
Well, they have FSR 4.0 as well, to be fair, which
and
probably
FSR
won't be as
good.
Yeah.
It probably won't be as good. I don't think it'll ever touch DLSS 4.0. But if they get close to it, they exactly don't need to. As long as they get close to it and always be the second best by a comfortable margin, that's all you need. It is a shame it's locked to their cards, FSR 4.0 going forwards. But do you want to know something? I don't blame them. It's been free for so long, and I think I'm right saying, Tarl, just the way this card works in architecture, I don't know if they purposely locked it behind that or they had to by design. But either way, it's locked.
I don't think we'll ever know, but
probably not.
And I don't think I don't think they are doing it because of that, because they don't have the kind of weight in the market to say, like Nvidia do, if you want the new stuff, you have to buy the new stuff. I think it probably was just a technical thing.
Yeah. So, I think the last thing really quickly is the Xbox handheld, which I kind of glossed over there, really. We might touch on that more in the future because I'm conscious of time, of course, but it's essentially they're looking to try and combine. You're going to love this, Gray. They're going to combine Xbox and Windows. So you think Windows 11's pissing you off? Oh dear, wait till you get game bars and pop-ups and
get that up anyways.
No, thanks.
Oh no,
I'm out.
Yeah, I had to disable that.
I might save this bit more, and we'll talk about it more in the future because I know we're short of time, aren't we, Grace? So
we still got stretching it maybe 8 minutes. So the only thing I wanted to add to the DLSS, and I have to give a credit to what I saw in a video that Linus was on. And he was trying to explain the multi-frame generation feeling good or feeling bad depending on how you look at it. So with the fact that 80% of RTX gamers are turning DLSS frame gen on all the time, he got to play some games on the new 5090 with the frame gen fully working. But what they did was they gave it to a couple people that aren't as up on all this kind of technology and said, we want you to play the game. Tell me what you think. And he said that most everybody said that the game was so much smoother and they really liked it, the feel of the game and the smoothness of the game. So when it really comes down to it, it's kind of a split crowd. There's the people that really like it because it is smooth, and I got it. And look, I don't mind smooth. Smooth's cool, and it makes things easier to play. And they were showing a couple of the guys that were playing whatever game it was, and they were moving their mouse back and forth, and so you would see, whether there was jitter or whatever was going on. And when the multi-frame was on, I mean, they're like really pulling the mouse back and forth, and you ain't seeing any jitter anywhere. Whatever you want to call it, fake frames or not, that means something to people. So for the normal to mid-level guys, or whatever, maybe not, perhaps not the highest level guys, that's the majority of their base, and who's going to buy the card and want that kind of stuff.
You said 80% of gamers are turning DLSS on.
Well, let's go with a grain of salt for a second, because that's
are they turning it on, or is it on by default?
No, turning it on. Period. But
is that a poll, or is that?
Wait a minute. Wait. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you right now. Caveat is that's a fact that NVIDIA put out. So
yeah.
But even if you want to take it down a notch, because that's what happens with NVIDIA, and say that maybe it's 65%, it's still a lot of people that turn it on. I mean, I turn it on. Why not? I want more frames, and stuff.
But a lot of the AAA games.
Sorry.
A lot of the AAA games just have it turned on by default, right? So
some of them, yeah. But some don't. They don't, But again,
that is a mixture.
But again, they were putting people in front of it that were people that weren't on the geek level that we're on. They're like amateur geeks instead of professional geeks like us.
Hey, at the end of the day, if it's good, it's good, and that's all there is to it.
Well, again, it's like they said. Now some of the higher end people that sat down to play games were going like, yeah, it's really smooth and that's cool, but it doesn't do this. And they would show a couple of frames where you have to zoom in and see a pixel, like one pixel. Look at that; those 2 pixels are not correct. That's not a good thing. I'm like, okay,
right. Game quiz.
Makes sense.
So I just wanted to finish off with that a little bit. Well, we're running out of time, so we'll hold off the quiz again.
Again.
Because I'm gonna have to fly through it.
Not
I don't
2
think
weeks
I'm
in a
gonna do
row
it in time.
All right.
I can give one question.
The answers are A, B, and D.
You got it.
There you go.
Now I don't.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna do one question instead of 3, only because hey, what the heck, right? So I'm gonna jump to question 3. PC gaming began in what year? PC gaming.
What sort of question is that?
PC
by the way,
gaming
that's like
officially
saying what trousers did God wear?
There
when
is
he
a year
invented
that
Earth?
PC gaming is considered to have started.
So what was the first game on PC that was popular?
Pong.
But what defines PC? I had a Spectrum ZX20. Was that officially? Was that PC?
I'm not saying. I'm just telling you that there is an official year that PC gaming started.
1988, but it's probably way younger.
1983.
89, just because.
80, 83, 89? Okay.
Yeah.
Guess what the answer is? 1962.
You see, I was thinking.
God damn it, man. I hate you,
that
Greg.
makes
That's
sense.
a shit question.
Because they started using computers back in the 40s and 50s.
You're
Back when the internet was just words.
Yeah.
Hey, look, there were role-playing games in DOS.
Great.
Long ago.
I played them. I played them.
I don't think the computers were personal back in 1963.
They were the size of a fucking warehouse, man.
Yeah, exactly.
And they could play Pong.
It was personally important to them.
And they ran magnetic bloody tapes, and that blows my mind. You could play games in tapes, man. That's
oh God, you're really going back now with the tape.
Hey, I Spectrum ZX20. I put my tapes in there, my cassettes.
Did you play Dizzy? I used to play Dizzy on my Spectrum.
Allowed to have.
Yeah, I remember that.
A little head jumping around.
I was the king get bloody dizzy.
Loading a
yes.
game on tape was like just start the tape and come back on 18 hours.
It was torture. It was torture.
Then the game was
Hey,
loaded.
Look, Mercian get closest, 1977.
Okay,
Nice.
very good,
Mercian.
Mercian. That was close.
So
Yeah.
hang on, which was the game and which was the system?
It didn't say
ran on?
what game it was. They just stated the
Oh,
year.
that's convenient.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is.
I'll try to delve into it for you and see what I can
The
come
first
up with.
Sure you
PC
will.
in the home was called Altair 8800, and that was in 75.
Oh, so you're getting closer there. See? Older than you.
We're away
I
to watch
should've known
space.
that. That was in my
We're away to
exam
watch.
thing last year.
Before we get a lot older, we're gonna go now.
Yeah, we're away to watch SpaceX launch a big
Yes,
rocket.
and Carl, thanks for joining us. I'm sure we'll get together with you again soon.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Guys,
and,
everybody.
wait.
Mhm.
I just wanted to say something to Trev. I think you'll like this, Trev. My girlfriend texted me during the show earlier, and she said that her 10-year-old girl asked, "What does moist for the Switch 2 mean?" Mum?"
Oh lordy! If
So,
you just tell her it means we're all
explain,
wet.
Trev.
That's all.
Right.
So Jem says, "Thanks for the awkward conversation, Trev."
I was sweating with excitement. That I'm getting really wet because all the sweat. That's all it was. I was excited for the Switch.
wet
2.
himself.
It happens. It happens, and you don't sweat. I don't think at 10 years old, so you're fine. It's all good. Move on.
He's old, he
All right.
peed himself.
No, that's great. You're getting us mixed up now.
Okay, and we're into the ending. So we'll see you all
Dance
guys
shoes on.
later.
Yo, people,
Bye.
have a good one. Thank you.
In my heart, I have but one desire, and that one is